But I met the order Florida or enough money, yes, no.
Let's learn the Chumash.
So after
Okay. Um, Parshas BeHaaloscha. Thank you for the water. Baruch atah Nelein Malachim Mishaklim Midvarim.
Amen.
Amen.
Oh, Tzvi Hirsch.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for joining us.
You're welcome.
Here's a sheet for
Thank
you.
It was here this morning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yay. Let's roll.
Parshas BeHaaloscha. Let's read quickly the first four psukim. If you have a chumash, you can look in the Rashi and the chumash. V'daber Shem al Moshe Leimer. The Eibusha spoke. Daber al Aaron v'amar to Elof. BeHaaloscha sanedis al mul pnei menorah yudu shiva sanedis. That when you light the candle, you should make sure that you should light it in a way that the seven candles light al mul pnei menorah. That there's the pnei menorah and the candles have to light al mul pnei menorah. We learned about it last year and year before, the Rishimas HaMenorah. There's many opinions. What does it mean? Mul Pnei Menorah. This is one candle, which was a special candle, which was burning miraculously. Eidasi, Shashchina Shoyda B'Yisrael, that that there was the same amount of oil. So there's a sheet of but like upon him, that's the concept. That he did exactly what he was told. That actually says that he did exactly what he was told. Okay. These are the four psukim, and then the Torah goes on to another thing. It's interesting. This whole parsha is called BeHaaloscha5784. There's only four psukim about BeHaaloscha 5784. Really, it's all told already in the Parshas Truma about how to build a menorah. Just to set the stage, because today we're going to learn two Sichos, one a Mugadik and a not Mugadik Sicha, which click in with each other. So there's another Rashi where in Truma where it says Vasisa menorah zov tohar miksha te'osa ha-menorah yerecha v'kona gviyah kaftereo frocheo mimenu yihiyu. It says that you should make the menorah from pure gold, miksha, just like it says over here. Oh, over there it says te'osa. What does it mean? The funny word te'osa. Rashi says me'aleha. Visha Moshe miskasha ba. How to make it? Amalek Kadosh Baruch Hu hashleches hakikar lavur v'hinasis me'ala. Allah akach lo nichtav tasa. It doesn't say tasa te'osa. It will happen on its own. Throw in the whole kikar zov into the fire, and miraculously the menorah will be made. Throw in the whole kikar, and it'll be a nest that the menorah will come out. Sagt Rashi, v'zeh ma'aseh menorah. She'er HaKadosh Baruch Hu be'etzba. The Eibusha showed him with a finger. L'fi sheniskasha bo. Kach name v'zeh. Mofoshim will try to. What do you mean v'zeh? A lot of times v'zeh shetasa. What's the kasha? What's the kasha from the word v'zeh? It says a lot of times v'zeh. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. Miksha. So he says betaditz balaz. Loshen do l'do nokshen. Eshes shell kickers of hoisa. Makish bekurnus. You take a hammer and you bang, 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 bang. V'choytech b'chashir l'fashet tevareh kis sikunan. But like not to say vorim al yedei chibur. It wasn't made like usually you make pieces and then you screw it or you weld it. They didn't make the menorah has 49 pieces. So you would think you make 49 pieces and then you weld it together and then you screw it into each other. No, it has to be miksha achas. You take a hammer, bang, 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 bang.
Impossible. And
l'choyre, that's impossible. We'll learn in the Sicha B'Pashas that Rebbe says that a difficult part of the menorah is making it from one eshes shel kesef miksha. Otherwise, it's so complicated to make rochim. You make yerochim.
No, you could,
but to make it, that's very kosher. How are you supposed to make it from one piece?
So many details,
and there's so many details. And if you make a flower. Because
so you could do
you
it.
Make a flower.
Yeah,
you take it here
upside down and gvim
and up and down, and the gvim go like. And it's all from one kicker, and you have to bang, bang, bang. It's impossible.
Big branches.
So that was the Pashtas, the Niskashabo. It's very hard to figure out how do you do it. How do you do that?
What Abba thought in the beginning when he asked Moshe Rabbeinu to do it. I can ask you to build me a 10 floors with
Yeah, it's a good kasha. Definitely the Sicha will answer the kasha. Rashi finishes Ad Yerecha Yashidash ala Raglaim Kol Kederech Menoides Kesef Shalifni Asorim. Yerecha is the bottom. The menorah had a stand in the bottom, and the whole thing was kolol. It was hollow, just like the menorahs that Rashi is saying today in France. If you go to the Versailles, if you go to the Louvre, if you go to a palace, you'll see that there's menorahs shell and they're chalul. Okay, they make them chalulim. Kein osa sa menorah. What does it mean? Kein osa sa menorah. Misha Osa, whoever made it. Midrash Agoda says, Al Yedei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Nasis Me'ala. The Sicha is long enough, so I didn't quote a lot of Medrashim and Mefarshim, but just two pieces that are very important for the Sicha. One is the Ramban. The Ramban says, V'tam v'kein Osa. Who is Osa? Moshe. Haniska, because Moshe Rabbeinu is mentioned in the pasuk. We're talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. Ki hu ishtadel b'limud v'osa oisa b'tzivui. He did exactly what he was told. Rashi wrote not like me. So who made it, according to Rashi? So the Mizrahi Taka says, Midrash Agoda Edei Kadosh Baruch Hu Nasas Me'ela, Yesh Meforshim Shamedrash Choylak Al Pirish Rishon, that the Medrash and the first Pshat are arguing. Kain Osa. The one pshat is Kain Osa. What does it mean, Kain Osa? Kamoy vayagid amagid. Upirish misha Osa. Misha darke la Osa. Who betzalo? There's a cloud that Rashi says there's a concept of a mikra kotzer. It's a short pasuk. For example, it says by the Sarah Mashkim ba'oifim they were in jail, and then they had a dream, and Yosef told them the meaning of the dream. Then exactly what Yosef said happened. He forgot. He told Yosef, "I'll do him a favor." He forgot about him. And then right, Yosef got punished. But then the Bahimikation Asaim Pari Choilem and Ein Magid LaPara, he wakes up and he tells Pari, "Hey, you know what?
2 years ago, huh?
Yeah, there was a couple of years ago. There was a story. There was a Tonu Eved, not Ivri. Yeah, he's a little guy." But, when it comes to Acholim, he could be Poisa Cholim. Vahikasher Poser Lonu, Kain Hoya, Oisi Heishi Valkani, Voisai Tolo. So Rashi says, who is Heishi Valkani? Who? Pare, Rashi says over there. And Rashi says, Samikra Kotze, Vachain Dera Kola Mikroas, Al Misha Olavala Soise. The Rashi says, the old Mikroas, it's not in here. I'm just telling you by heart what Rashi said there. That the Rashi says over there, it doesn't say who. Oisi Heishi Valkani, Oisi Tolo. Me, he put back in my position, and the other guy went hanging from the gallows. Who hung up the other guy from the gallows? Who put me back in my place? He didn't say who. Maybe it was Zorach. Maybe it was Peretz. How do we know? Maybe it was Peretz when it went and he hung up. Like this guy was telling us the other day about the Quran, that the stories of Medrashim and this and Flitarain, the Nimrod is talking to Haman, and it's like a whole big mishmash. So how do you know? Who? So Rashi says it's not. What do you mean? How do you know? The derech is to talk a mikra kotze. Who else? Who? Obviously, it's Pare. So the Torah says a mikra kotze. Oisi heishiv alkani, oisi toloi. Me, he put back in my position that I was back a Saramashkin, and he was hanging from the gallows. Who hang him? Who do you think hung him? Mordechai Tzaddik, Zeresh. Obviously, it was Pare. Pare hung him. Who do you think that the Torah doesn't want to spend more words? If you're ready, if you know the story, Bepashus, who would be hanging him up? Please hang him up. It's a mikra kotze.
But why he didn't tell Oti Hoshi
He wants to save words. The pasuk is mikra kotzer. Rashi said, there's another example. It says, "Vayagid leYankov, vayomer hine binchta Yosef boy lecha vayizchazak Yosef vayeshev Yaakov vayeshev alamita." Who? Rashi says, "Echad magidim." That is mikra kotzer. And there's another half a dozen places, and Rashi says this. It's a klal in Pshutisha Mikra that the Torah wants to save words. So when you're learning a story and it's obvious what we're talking about, the Torah doesn't repeat it. So the same thing here. It says that the menorah was made. The Torah doesn't want to repeat again and again and again. We know who's building. Bezalel is building. So therefore, the Torah decided to go bekitze. Kain osa sa menorah. Mi asa? That's
why is you saying in the beginning that Hashem make him one big piece and he made the menorah?
Oh, see, that's why he says the Medrash argues. The Medrash says no. The Medrash, okay, so let's read again the Mizrach. Yesh meforshim shamedrash choylek im apirish rishon. Kein also kamay vayagid amagid apirish misha also misha dark elaso. He said, like always in Rashi it says mikra kotz. Who betzala? The Medrash Amar kein also Hakadosh Baruch anisker lamayla shemaatzma nasas bilti poil nida who Hakadosh Baruch yeshem shemedrash balavar shemash Amar pirish rishon misha also moira al Hakadosh Baruch kanisker lamayla vein enochim. Shimkein, why do you add? Idea Kadosh Baruch Hu Nasas mi elel. So he says, I like the first pshat. The first pshat is that there's a machloikis. Rashi brings one pshat and pshat shamikra. Kein asa samanayra mi asa. Lo asa. Medrash says no. Kadosh Baruch Hu asa. It's a machloikis. So the Rebbe says a few things. I don't understand. Says the Rebbe. I don't understand. You're telling me it's a medrash agoda because it's taka medrash. Because in the pshat it says the whole pasuk says just like the Eibush showed Moshe, Cain also Hakadosh Baruch Hu menorah. It doesn't flow. It doesn't flow. It's a Moshe. So that's why the Ashitakas calls it medrash agoda. It's funny because in Truma he doesn't call it medrash agoda, and in the Truma he only brings one pshat, and he doesn't think it's a medrash. He thinks that it's, and we'll talk about it soon why. But the pashtus, because over there, never mind the pashtus. The bottom line is, it's a medrash agoda. So why are you bringing a medrash? Zog the pshat again. Zog the pshat. It's take shver. And the pshat shemikra goes very well. Okay, who made it? It's a mikra kotze. You don't like the idea of a mikra kotze, but it's the best pshat here. You have it so many times. If you could give me a different pshat, and pshat, not medrash, that it say it's not a mikra kotze, okay, BeHaaloscha, it's very nice. But mikra kotze is a legit way of learning pshat. Rashi does it so many times. Rashi does it all the time. Oisei taler, who? Oh, but maybe we should give you a medrash. Because that's a good way of learning pshat. So what's wrong with the first pshat that Rashi has to bring a second pshat? Lidach, if he doesn't like the first pshat, so why does he say this the second pshat that Bezalel made it? Why that the Eibishter made it? He could have brought a second pshat like the Ramban. That Moshe Rabbeinu brought it because Takazoi, there's a lot of medrashim that say that way. That Moshe Rabbeinu, and you don't even have to say that Moshe Be'emes did it. Similar, Rashi himself said in last week's parsha, "B'yom kolos Moshe lokem samishkan." So Rashi says, "Ich verstehe nicht. Where's Bezalel, Leah, Kol Chacham Leiv?" Rashi answers, "Tola Kadosh Baruch Hu Moshe l'fisher Moser Nafshe Allah of Lidas Tavnas Kol Dover." Therefore, it was Nikras al Shmoy. So the same thing here. Rashi could have said that the second pshat is not Bezalel. Keinos Moshe did the menorah. Even if he didn't Lepoil build it, because Moser Nafshe, just like Rashi said it already in Parshas Nosei. No, Rashi decided the first pshat is Keinos Menorah is Bezalel. Second pshat, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Why? If it's a shver pshat, why are you saying it? Okay, bekitza, the Rebbe's pshat, because the time is short. Two questions that Rebbe says are very strong questions. What's the pasuk all of a sudden? V'zeh ma'aseh menorah. How all the Meforshim ask this kasha? All the Meforshim ask. It's funny that Rashi doesn't bother to ask. Parshat Truma, we told already everything. Ma'aseh Menoida, how to build. So Mamonasha, if you forgot how to build, tell me over everything. If you forgot, tell me everything again. If you didn't forget, one thing that I'd have remembered. Oh, by the way, I have to mention to you, it's mixtures of. By the way, I have to mention to you, why, one thing. No, it's mentioned already in Truma. So everything is said in Truma. So if you just want to mention again that there is a menorah, one prat we mentioned that it's mixtures of this. This the Torah repeats. There's so many details. There's about 40 psukim about the menorah. The Torah doesn't want to repeat itself. Why repeat it again? So, but why this prat? The fact that the Torah said the first 3 psukim, that's not a pel. First of all, the Torah is telling you how to like the menorah. The Torah never told you that. Secondly, it's negay right over here because Rashi says, "Kol shadalti she'aron shaloi hoyoloi hu v'leshivtoi bekorbanos hanasim." Aaron had chalisha sadas. So the Eibusha said, "Chayecha shalcho godel mishalahem she'ata madleko meitiv v'sanediv." It has a beautiful pshat. Because he said that they did Chanukas Mizbeach and you're doing Chanukas HaMenorah. Through the Hadlok of Atover, you're making Chanukas HaMenorah. Okay, so that we understand. But what's mitten amol v'zeh ma'is HaMenorah? This posuk is mamish miyuter. And the emes is, also the first 3 psukim is a little bit of a pella. All the Meforshim ask, the Ramban says, well, how did he menachem him? Like, what's mit eingefallen that BeHaaloscha H5784? He's also doing the Toidas that they don't do. By the way, the Rebbe is a beautiful pshat. The Rebbe said, why dafka the menorah?
Put him down.
Why that will cool him down?
So many avoidance.
The Rebbe says, Heve Amina, you could say that the Eibishter cooled them down by saying, listen, all they're doing is bringing it to you, but you're really bringing the Karbonos on the Mizbeach.
You're doing it.
You're doing. But the Rebbe says, that's not what the Eibishter told him. Because the Eibishter should have said, instead of BeHaaloscha HaSaneres, you should have said, listen, Aaron, what are you so upset? They're all bringing Karbonos. What are they doing? They're bringing it to you. You're bringing it on the Mizbeach. That's not what the Eibishter told him. Because for it, what's Nageya? Who is bringing it on the Mizbeach? It's B'shlichus shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'shlichus shel Yisrael. Well, the Shvatim have the schus to be mechanech the Mizbeach. He said, I have a Chalisha Sadas. How come I'm not loy Yehu v'loy Shivtoi? So the Eibishter told him, Shalacha Gedoyla. Sha'ata madlik ameiti v'saneir, if you're being mechanech the menorah. Was he not mechanech the Mizbeach HaPnimi? Who was mechanech the Mizbeach HaPnimi? Nesano ben Sur, Zimri ben Solui. Who was? So why? That's a shaila that Ramban asks. Again, a shaila pshuta shel mikra. Whatever the Ramban answers, the Ramban gives answers. A beautiful geshmak answer. Every Chanukah, everyone talks about his answer. Zmeramis, the menorah, the zmanakolis. Givaldik. However beautiful his teretz is, the question is why Rashi doesn't mention it. So you can't expect that a child already learned it on Ban. That Rashi did not expect that the child already learned it on Ban.
Rabbi Aharon did not know that because the Nasiim brought everything and he did bring, so the whole conversation with Hashem, he knew that he is the head, he's going to light it. He didn't know that?
So obviously, good question. Obviously, a good question. Obviously, the Eibishter is telling him something he didn't chap. There's something he didn't chap that the Eibishter is telling him. And that's our question. What did he not chap? What did he not get that the Eibishter all of a sudden is telling him? So the Rebbe is saying, these 2 questions, usually that's how it happens with Sichos. The 2 bomba kashas answer each other. You're asking me, what's the pshat? V'zeh ma'is hamenorah. And you're asking me, what's given the Chalisha Sadas, and what did the Eibishter answer him? And the 2 bomba kashas answer each other. One kasha can answer the other kasha. That's called it style. It has so many questions. By the time you get to the 25th and 26th question, so you start seeing what the answer is. So the Rebbe says, Pashut, the only keli in the Beis HaMikdash that the Eibishter built personally was the menorah. Even though you could say, because Moshe Niskashaba, okay, Hogufa, the Eibishter made it. The Eibishter made it. The Eibishter didn't know that Moshe is going to be Niskashaba. Bottom line is, that's what the Torah is saying. Bezeh ma'is hamenorah. Miksha zahav. Why did the Eibishter have to build it himself? You don't know how to make all the 49 pieces in the menorah are not so complicated. The only reason why it's complicated is because you can't make Rachel, and then glue it together and screw it together. It has to be mikshazah. And that's why he's how am I supposed to do that? The Eibush knew he's not going to know how to do it. And the Eibush set it up that the Eibush himself, is going to build it. So the only thing, and why Taka did the Eibush build it himself?
You can't pour a mold.
Huh?
You can't pour a mold.
You're asking a good kasha. The second beer that Rebbe gives is going to answer your kasha. I think he's going to answer your kasha. So wait a minute. So the Rebbe is saying, Poshet, that the Eibishter built the menorah. Why did the Eibishter build the menorah? Is there something special in the menorah? Chazal said, there was a nest that happened every day. We once spoke about it. There's a smash from Gemara that maybe that nest didn't happen only when Yidden were tzaddikim, but for hundreds of years there was this nest, just like the Chashmonaim had for 8 days. They had it every day. That they put the equal amount of oil in all 7 candles, and one burnt for much longer than the other ones. How much longer? Again, and what?
After it was big, different size wicks.
No, they manipulated the wicks equally in all of them. They manipulated the wicks to finish off the oil, but they didn't do a trick on the Ner Maravi. They only manipulated the wicks so the oil would finish off, and they did an equal amount of thing for Ner Maravi, and then the Ner Maravi by BeHaaloscha should have been out, and they didn't know. Still, it went and it went and it went for. If you hold it was lit only once, so it went for another 12 hours. And it went for another 2-3 hours. It went for longer. And it was a nace every single day. And that nace was supposed to show that Shechina Shoyda B'Yisrael. So this was supposed to be Eidus L'chol B'Yoylam. So these are 2 nekudas which click into each other. The Eibush himself built the menorah, and through the menorah he showed Eidus L'chol B'Yoylam Shechina Shoyda B'Yisrael. So that answers the 2 kashas. A child is going to say, what? Mitnamol this posek, fly teraim, v'zeh ma'isa menorah mikshah. A second question the kid is going to ask, what's so special about the Ma'is HaMenorah that the Eibishter told him that he should calm down? The Eibishter told him, when you're going to bake the Chanukas HaMenorah, there's something more special in the Menorah than even the Oren HaKodesh and even the Shulchan and even the Mizbeach HaPnimi. This I made myself. I built it, the Rebbeinu Shalom said. I built it. You're going to be Mechanech. They're Mechanech the Mizbeach. You know who built the Mizbeach? B'Tzalel.
No, he did something. He took the gold and put it in the fire.
Emes.
It was a seal.
He did something.
That's not making something.
But he didn't mamish make it.
He didn't bang, he did nothing. But throwing it is something.
He threw it in. The Rebbe says, he threw it in. The Rebbe says, that's the deal. Rashi said, funny words, and that's what the Mizrahi asks. Rashi says that the pshat is, in the second pshat, when Rashi says the pshat, Medrash Agolia Yidei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's it. What do you mean Nasis Melea? Yidei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Nasis. Should say Al Yidei HaKadosh Baruch
Hu. What is he showing him?
He showed him. The Rebbe says, Taka, that's a pshat.
What is it?
He showed him. He showed him.
And then he showed with the finger.
No, he showed him before. He showed him how it's going to be, and that's Taka the Rebbe says. What's a pshat v'zeh? A lot of times there's a word v'zeh, and it doesn't bother Rashi so much. Over here, what's bothering Rashi is b'chlal. What's the whole pasuk coming to tell us? It's not the word v'zeh, because v'zeh a lot of times is zeh shetasu. It's just the whole pasuk is extra. So that Rashi learns v'zeh again. It's to emphasize that this was something which was mamish. The Eibishter showed him be'etzba, and then the Eibishter built it himself. So the Eibishter said to Aaron, they are being mechanech the mizbeach which was built through B'Tzalel, and you're being mechanech the menorah that I built myself. But then the Rebbe says that not like the pshat that the Meforshim say that Rashi is bringing a machloikis between pshat and the Medrash Agoda. It's not a machloikis. It's not a machloikis b'chlal. Ze maschal v'ze masayim. Medrash Agoda is adding to the pshat. Osa misha osa, which is probably B'Tzalel, which did everything. Moshe Rabbeinu. There's a Moshe Rabbeinu Moser Nafshala. This talk a little bit of a stira. It sounds a little bit in Truma that Omar LaKadosh Baruch Hu Hashlach HaKikar L'Oyer. So who threw it in the oil? That Moshe or B'Tzalel? But there's also Mashma and Rashi that were a little bit makish b'kurnus. So maybe one of them between Moshe and B'Tzalel, one threw it in the fire, and one was a little bit makish b'kurnus. But the bottom line, the Eibishter made it.
Yes.
So it was but it was a shutfus. That's why Rashi says that the pshat is a medrash agod al yedei HaKadosh Baruch Hu nasis me'ala. It was a shutfus. Moshe and Betzalel both put their hands to it. They threw it in, they banged it a little bit, but the Eibishter made it. So it wasn't this machloikus between the pshat and medrash. It was together. It was together. The Eibishter did it, and they did it together with the Eibishter. They did it together with the Eibishter. And there's something special about when you're doing it together with the Eibishter. The Rebbe has a why the Eibishter wanted to make it, that he's making it together with Betzal B'Shutfas. But before we get to that, I just want to clarify. So again, the Kash on Teretz, the Rebbe is saying not like the Mizrahi, that the Rashi is bringing a pshat and then a funny medrash. It's not a pshat and a funny medrash. Pshat and the medrash is the Zobazach. We want to tell you how special the menorah is. And again, there's two big kashas here. What would the Eibishter say to Aaron that made him feel good? What's so special? Never mind that Ramban has a beautiful pshat that this is Meramas to Chanukah, but that's not pshat. And also, what's mitnamol ze ma'isa menorah, and all of a sudden, one thing we're mentioning mikshazov. The two kashas answer eine the zwei, because it's mikshazov, a human being can't make it. And the Eibishter knew he can't make it, so the Eibishter wanted he should make it, and this is what he told Aaron. They are being mechanech the mizbeach that human being made, and you're being mechanech the menorah that the Rebbeinu Shalom himself made it. But he made it b'shutvis with Moshe and Betzalel. What's the mila that he made it b'shutvis with Moshe and Betzalel? What's the mila that he made it b'shutvis with Moshe and Betzalel? So before I go to the second sikha, I was going to go first to the second sikha, but it's so important. So let's finish off this sikha, and then we'll go to the second sikha. The Rebbe says like this: two nekudas, moiridik and nekudas. One nekuda is azoy. We say there is a serus latata, serus dalayla. It's the same thing, just these are the words of the Zohar, this is the words of the Gemara. But it means the same thing. This is the noisis of Nigla, this is the noisis of Nisir. Surus al-Lasas is Sidis. Nigla, Odash Mekadesh Atzamat Malamata Makachan Azama means exactly the same thing. Okay. So Lafierech, how much you Mekadesh, that's how much you get. There is such a thing which is it's from the Eibishter. Amat naschina. Avoidus maton etnas kunaschem. You didn't deserve it. You didn't work in it. The Eibishter gives it to you. There's a mile in each one. There's a mile in each one. The menorah was something that the Eibishter made, and the candle that burnt in Ner Maravi was bednes, was from the Eibishter alone. And bazeh gufa. What do you mean the Eibishter did it? The Eibishter did it. There's a lot of ways the Eibishter could do it. There's a mime that says, "Bayomahu yitoka b'shoifa gadol." There's that famous mime that the Rebbe spoke after the 6-day war, and it was based on the Alter of his mind. What's pshat Yitoka b'shoifa? Who's Yitoka? Obviously the Eibishter. Why doesn't it say that Kadosh Baruch Hu Yitoka? The Alter says it's the Eibishter himself. The Lo Be'esaram is b'shum ois v'koitz. We can't say Elokim. We can't say Avai. We can't say no. Can't even say Anoichi. V'ayermahu Yitoka b'shoifa gadol kilu Yitoka me'atzman. The same thing here. The Eibishter said, throw it in, and the Medrash says, idea Kadosh Baruch Hu nasis me'eleh. Nasis, like Yitoka b'shoifa gadol. Yitoka, who is Yitoka?
The level of nasis.
That level of Yitoka b'shoifa gadol. Then the Rebbe says the second part, and the two verta for sure click in with each other. The Rebbe says that the Rebbe Molgeret, that what's going to be the base of Mikdash Shlishi? There's a machloikis. Is it machloikis? Tosfos and Rashi against the Rambam. Is it going to be Binyana the Kucherich, like it's Mashman the Zoyer, that we're not building, the Eibush is building it? What's going to be? Yigola v'yove min hashamayim, meshuchlo lubona v'yove. Yeah. And the Rebbe has 4 tirutzim. Why did the Rebbe give 4 tirutzim? Not just to be metavech, all the Rishonim. I mean, we have to build it in one way. So the Rebbe had a teretz, 4 tirutzim, that's nishkin stira. The main nekuda the Rebbe wanted to bring out from the 4 tirutzim, Binigla the Rebbe gave 4 tirutzim. But the Rebbe said, what's the mila of having both shittas together? That there's a mila when you have a serus latata. There's a mila and a pure serus la'ela. And there's something special when you have both together. He did a psaklene serus latata, and he gets azar serus la'ela, shaloi lefierech the serus latata. Beda Milas. You have the Mila that you worked on it, but what you got was Shaloi Lefi Erech Mamish. And it has both Milas together. Similar, huh?
Should be Namad of Sufa.
It shouldn't be Namach Sufa on the one hand. And the other hand, but it wasn't Lefi Erech. It was Mamish, Shaloi Lefi Erech, Klal.
Everything's like that.
Agam, everything is like that because it's not because it's Lefi Erech. What I do, that I did, I took a few dollars and I put in a pushka and the mele, I should be Matzmiach Yeshuas. But for it, there's a piece of the Stalsh, they made it that way. But here it's Shaloi Lefi Erech, Klal. That even the say that
was the Leila that not
shaykh l'chayda, but still the Eibishter made that it should be connected, that they should have the mila of also the resultat.
Which one comes first? It's also the Leila resultat.
Right. So
you can't everybody says resultat without the Leila.
Right. So usually we say there's a little bit of Leila, there's a resultat, there's a Leila, and here there's a psa avoid this matona that's mamish, and here it's beta mila sazam. The Rebbe says that's a pshat that the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe was a lot of stories in the Alter Rebbe. Moshel, the Alter Rebbe wanted to keep Shabbos, so he told that when they were taking him to jail that they should stop. So they didn't. They refused to stop. Yeah, and then they broke Aksen Betelon Shvisen. Betelon Tzvochin af Aksen Betelon Shvisen. The Chassidim said Tzvochin af Aksen. The axle
is a weird.
The thing that makes the axle rod is what makes the two wheels, because otherwise so first the behemoth died and the axle rod and they realized now they said we're going to go, there's a city. He said no, it's already after Chatzos, I don't travel. It was Friday after Chatzos. He said that's too late. I told you before. I told you nicely. He said, I told you before, but my minig is not to travel after Chatzos.
You're going to bring the horses there.
So he stayed in the field. He stayed in the field the whole Shabbos, and they had no choice. And it was next to a city that later a lot of Lubavich Hasidim lived, in Neville. And they always came out and they showed a place with a beautiful tree, and they said that was the mark. So Mitzad Echad,
they got scared. First, he made the hostile. He's going to look at him.
But he wanted to do as much as he could beteva. So I'm coming from Shuas, a lot of Sudas for Shabbos. No, so I have to prepare at least one story for each Suda. So I told my children a Moededik story. Moededik story. That at Tzemach Tzedek, there was once there was a Poritz that owned a lot of land, including Lubavich. And he had a yid that worked for him. He had a dairy farm, and he had hundreds of cows. And so he had a yid that knew how to run the business. It became very profitable. And one day the Poritz calls the yid. Then he tells him, "You have a month to leave." He started to be jealous of the yid. Yid became so wealthy, and the yid became wealthy. He says, "Am I cheshbon?" So why do I have to have the Jew run it for me? And he should become wealthy. I'll be wealthy myself. So the Yid Nebuch was like so upset. First he thought that this guy is a alitzonis. They didn't mean it. But when the Poritz realized that this guy thinks it's alitzonis, he got so angry. He said, "You have a week to get out of here. And if you're not out within a week, I'm taking all your belongings, all your money, and I'm stripping you from everything. You're going to walk out of here without anything." So the Yid was... the Pachad Gadol, he went to the bookkeeper of the Poritz, who was a Jew. He said, "Could you please talk to the Poritz?" He said, he'll get rid of me too. I can't help you. So he went to Lubavich at Tzemach Tzedek, and he asked Tzemach Tzedek if maybe he could write a hamlotza letter to the Jew. The Jew is his bookkeeper, is very close to him. Write a letter to him, and Tzemach said, "Sure, no problem." Took a pen and paper, quickly wrote up, "Do me a favor," he said, "help this yid, take it from a yad mamish." And then he folded the letter, he put it in an envelope, and he wrote the name on the envelope, and he said, he left the room at Tzemach Tzedek. He left the room at Tzemach Tzedek, and he says, Tzemach Tzedek made a mistake. He sent to Reuven from Chernigiv. I told him that this guy, his name is Shimon, the right-hand man of the Poritz. So he wanted to go back to Tzemach Tzedek. The door was locked, and Mashamish said, "What do you want?" He said, "The Rebbe made a mistake." The Rebbe doesn't make a mistake. You can go home, you can follow instructions and not follow instructions. The Rebbe doesn't make a mistake, you're not going back. So he has no breda. So he went to Chernigiv, and he comes this rich man. His name is Reuven. This guy Reuven says, first of all, I'm a misnagid. I don't know, why would the Tzemach Tzedek send to me? Second of all, I have no idea who you're talking. I can't help you. The Yids realized a bit in a finste, started to cry and cry. So the wife of the Gevir asks him, why are you crying? He tells her the story. So she says to her husband, are you talking? He says, I'm in the snag, I don't know where. She said, don't worry, my husband's going with you. Otherwise, he's not coming home tonight. Okay, shine. So the Misnagid went together with this faucet. They went to the porets. And as soon as they come to the chotzer, they see there's a sosam v'simcha. And the poret sees from far this Gevir, and he's waving to him, and he's waving, and he's calling him. I can't believe it. You came for my birthday. He's looking at the porets.
Okay.
He says, you don't recognize me? 7 years ago, you saved my life. You don't remember? There was a snowstorm, and I was stuck in a forest right next to Chernigiv. You found me, took me to a house. Still live in that beautiful house, and you gave me and my wife, and you insisted we stay there for a week. He says, yeah, sure. He says, no, that's why I'm here. He says, but you didn't know it's my birthday. He said, I didn't know it's your birthday. But my cousin is running the dairy farm from you. That's your cousin? Is he an honest man? He says, the most honest man you ever meet. This guy didn't. He's the most honest man you'll ever meet. He's the most honest man you'll ever meet. Yeah? I'm telling you, he's the most honest man you'll ever meet. The poet says, I feel so bad. I told him he has to get out of here in a week. I feel so bad. Call him. Could you call your cousin right away? It's my birthday. I wanted to celebrate with me. And he tells you, I'm sorry. I was just making a joke. I was just testing you. Okay, showing. They celebrated with the poets and the Yid. This Misnagid, Gevara Nois Misnagid, he went straight back to Lubavich, and he went to the Tzemach Tzedek. He said that I see Ruach HaKodesh, and I want to be your chassid. Tzemach Tzedek said, you could be my chassid. Ruach HaKodesh. He said it was very poshut. I heard years ago that this poritz was stuck near Chernigiv, and there was a Yid that had Rachmanos, a Yid Shahartz, and took him in. And I heard about you. I heard that you're a very kind person. Who could it be? It's you. Mamela, I sent the chassid to you. So this is. There's hundreds of stories like this of Gedolei Yisrael that they made nisim in the floors, and they made godla and vosanusam. They malbish it beteva. The emphasis it's not just make godla and vosanusam. It was an inyan. It was an inyan. To bring the kedusha in a way that the malbishit kilu it's beteva. Kilu is a beteva. So the same thing here. The Moshe Rabbeinu did it. But Medrash Agoda tells you the story behind the story. It's not a psamach loikis. Betzalel did it. Moshe did it. They both did. This guy did a drop. He threw the eshes shel kesef, and the other one was makah bekurnos or whatever the pshat is. But then Medrash Agoda tells you the secret that the Eibishter had gemacht. But there's a mila when you have it together. There's a mila when you have it together. That you have a bisla sarus latata from the Yid, and then you have a bismam shaloy lefierech from the Eibishter. So you have mila of a sarus latata and a sarus leila in the menorah. Yeah.
He sensed it also. It was low tide. It was a strong wind. So Hashem gives you the period.
That's some. I hear. That's a bechira. That a person can always machzach narish. But that's a different angle. I'm saying Liba de Emes, that's true. That's another angle you could say. But I'm saying a different thing today. That when I'm connecting the story of the Tzemach Tzedek to what we're talking about today is a different angle. That Takazor, there's a mila that is, the Kedusha is so intense and the Nes is so big, but to connect it with the Teva, just like over here, the Eibishter could have said, I'll take care of it. The Eibishter wanted that Betzalel and Moshe should put their hands to it, should throw in the menorah, epis on Zayton. Mitzvah Hashem, based on Menachem Mendel, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be mekanish forshta.
What is the Etzbe Elokim?
It's going to be Etzbe Elokim. The Mikdash Adnai Koinen Yadech. Me and you are going to have to do something. We're going to have to We're gonna have to throw a few pieces of Zov or Kesef.
Look at that.
A printing machine make up for one piece. Make sure others up. They can make anything today. Third base and English looks probably
Yes, third base and Mikdash will be that way. I'm not going to answer right now the question about how come they couldn't make it because I have a whole other biur.
You aren't coming 3 minutes.
Uh-huh.
It's number 10.
Okay, so we'll talk about the other biur right now quickly.
And you're using over here the lotion be'etzba, mara be'etzba, like the
Mara Betzboy.
mara be'etzba masei liven veo.
So I want to go into the other biur of it quickly. Amish, quick. There's another kasha that Rashi over here says something that he doesn't say in Parshas Truma. Rashi adds something that he never said over there. Rashi over here says that Rashi doesn't say it in Parshas Truma. So again, the kasha is,
what was the question that you have to say?
What's mitnamo? Rashi, it says it was cholol. Whatever was on the inside was cholol. He doesn't say it in Parshas Truma. He says it here. What does it mean? It means that there is in the Louvre, or if you go in the Versailles, and where the Sorim live in Paris and in Troyes, you'll see anyone that knows how the Jews lived in the Middle Ages when Rashi lived. The Yidden lived in ghettos. They didn't live a block away from the Louvre, and they didn't go visit the Versailles for Cholamoyed trips.
Louvre was the White House?
Yeah, for a time, yeah. And then the Versailles al Derech Zeh.
That's the White House.
Yeah.
Washington.
The cats, these?
No, the palaces. I'm saying Yidden would live in the ghetto, was locked by night. So for a child, to now has to go knock on the door of Assad and say, "Excuse me, sir, can I see your menorah?" Okay, sure. No. Can I please turn it over upside down because I want to see in the inside?
You're actually able to know.
The kid. So what is Rashi B'chlal trying to do here? Rashi didn't say it in Parshas BeHaaloscha. He says it here. If he wants to say kederech, like the menorah shalif, trying to accomplish. What is Rashi trying to say here, B'chlal? So the Rebbe says, "Amoyde de kepshat, mamash." It's unbelievable.
Maybe Rashi want to say, what's ad yerech? What's ad yerech?
No, why didn't he say it there? But why didn't he say it there? And so the Rebbe says, "Azoy, moyde de kevod." In BeHaaloscha, everything he's already said mefarish in BeHaaloscha. This was Bekitza here, but this is one nekuda that he adds here. There's two nekudas he adds over there. He says to us menorah made the Eibishter, and he doesn't say anything about Betzalel. And over there, when he talks about Yireich, he just says that there was a box in the bottom, Kain Teva. And over here, he says that was Cholol, Kederech, yeah, and he doesn't say it there. What's the Geshen? The Rebbe says Abir Nifla. Abir Nifla. First of all, over there is talking about the menorah they built in the Beis HaMikdash. Here we're talking about the Lochas menorah is going to be Ladoidus until Mashiach Tzedkenu will come, and also then the menorahs that were built. Sometimes the Chashmonoim were poor and they couldn't build it. The Gemara Rosh Hashanah Daf Chavdalet says that that it wasn't even made out of Zov. They made it out of metal because they couldn't afford to make out of Zov. Later they made it out of Zov.
Wait,
in the Beis HaMikdash Hasheni, yeah. So and later they became wealthy. But Chila, the Gemara says that they were very poor, so they didn't make it shel Zov. So the over there it says Te'asa. The Eibishter made it, and that was. But over here, Kain Asa. It's going to be made many. It includes the one time when the Eibishter made it, and many times it includes Ladoidus also.
Right.
So here now, jetzt wird the kash. Kash is like this: a kicker zov. How big is a kicker? You think a kicker? It's not a half a ton. Kicker zov is not. It's not a thing. And gold is heavy.
Right.
So kicker should make such a big menorah that you have to get 3 foot. It's yutches. It
can't be a full metal. Must be a empty metal.
So if you say that Kadosh Baruch Hu made it, don't worry. Kadosh Baruch Hu can shachan kennen. He can take a half a kicker. But if you're gonna say that a human being did it, so how? So that Rashi explains.
Because
it's hollow inside, so it's possible.
Even this is hard to understand.
Oh, so even this, the kid is going to say, so why don't you put more gold? Why don't you make it solid gold? Zefeld Geld in the Beis Hamikdash. Zefeld gets, it says that Moshe Rabbeinu announced, the BeHaaloscha should stop bringing. So why do you announce? Let them bring more gold. Why did the Eibush say, it's not Gresa Kasha. Why did the Eibush say it should be 7 branches, not 8? Kasha. Fourth, a child could ask, it's not such a far-fetched question. Right. So therefore Rashi says, Kederech Sha'asori Mois. The derech is that the king of France or the Sodom of France, they had the Taka don't make menorah shel zov. They're not that rich, but they make menorah shel kesef. And even this is chalal. Shmamino. That's the oifen hachashivus of making it. Why don't you make it solid kesef? Because it's silly. The rest of the kesef you can make other nice things. You see the Dibra Torah Koloshim Le'odom and the derech eretz, the normal way of doing things is not to make them right, it's all hollow. It's not the pshat. A gevir is going to go to Atzorfim and say, no, drei minishkin cup. Don't give me a hollow piece. It's like a waste. Even silver, you wouldn't do it. Kolchkin for gold, you wouldn't do it. That's why Rashi is saying, so in this pasha, when we're talking about all the menorahs that are being made, so Rashi frekt Akasha, one kicker is going to make. So he says because it's hollow, so you could make it with one kicker. Why wouldn't you not spend a little more money to put more gold? The Rashi says it's not more chasha. Just the Eibush want to be mikdash. Even Sodom Gedolim are only making kesef. They make their things nekavim, chalulim, and in the Beis Hamikdash it has to be nice. But to do, the Eibush didn't want us to do things that are crazy, not to. Similar to the word that you were saying, Shabbos, not to be wasteful. It's not to waste gold to hack in the inside when you don't need it. When you don't need it, why? Because I'm rich, because I have the zov. Is it going to be bigger? Is it going to be nicer? No. No. So that's why Rashi is saying kederech hasorim.
It's a very, very unique answer.
So you can't. So how's the mixture then? I guess.
But that's why it's hard to make any mixture.
How are you going to do it?
How are you going to do it?
So
the Eibush made it, and Ladoidus Taka eventually, because go to Atzorfim today and Taka today. Back then they couldn't. Today, if you go to Atzorfim and you'll give them a kickers off, they'll probably figure out how to do it. Right. Taka today you could do it. Taka today you could do it. Yeah, they have today, but didn't have those machineries those days.
With air,
They have things. They have machineries. They didn't have it then. So then the Eibush made it. The Eibush shall help them that we should, the menorah we should have Beida Milas in our life. Yisarus latata and Asarus leila shaloi lefierach klal klal. I should be zeichet to the Beis Hamikdash Shlishu. We shall have both Milas together.
Wow. Exactly. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much, man.
L'chaim. Shukayach for joining us. So here's Shukayach.
Oh, okay. Pleasure. Yes. Well,